Hi.
Hello, and welcome to the Partner Panel. We're live, by the way, in case some of you are wondering or confused.
He's doing it, guys. He's eating the Slim
doing
Jim.
it.
He does this every episode. This is my favorite part.
I fucking hate you, bro. Be quiet.
Now you pointed it out.
Yo, you think I don't got Slim Jims for days, bro?
Hey, I aspire to be like Windu. I got my Welch's. I'm ready to eat. I need to get my Slim Jim still, okay?
I hate y'all. Anyway,
hilarious.
Let's just go down the list, bro. What do y'all think about this item? The crossbow.
Really good.
Other crossbow.
All right, a non-mid. Let's ask a non-mid lane person what they think about this item.
Go.
Blue Sky.
I tried it on Quang. I still am trying to work out like when to build it. I tried building it as a first item, and then for some reason my brain just kept wanting to build damage after that. So I ended up really squishy. I think it's a great item on Quang. I noticed that that 1000, that mid range, that Magus Bolt is also in GD Crossbow.
Yes.
So I was like, wow. I thought that was cool. I think it's a great item. I've only got to try it on Quang. I didn't try it on anyone else yet. Oh, I tried it on Gideon. I was like, why did I put this on Gideon? I don't think it's well on Gideon, but
he's too bursty. He wants to be like, he lands autos, but it's not constant autos. It's not enough to do it.
Exactly, yeah.
He gets much better from other stuff.
But Bellica, with her drone doing that passive
extra
damage,
attack speed, big.
I think it's
very big.
It's great on her, yeah. I think it's a good item. I think it's great.
So who else do you guys think it's good on? I'm curious. So there's Bellica, Quang so far. Who else do you guys think?
I mean, would it not be good with
definitely Morgesh?
It's very good with Morgesh.
It's very good
almost,
on Morgesh.
Almost
you can get that
every
passive
mid laner.
going.
Almost every mid laner, it's gonna be good with.
I wouldn't throw it on Gadget.
I wouldn't throw it on Gadget. Morgesh definitely.
I guess, yeah, she's not
I wouldn't throw it on
auto-attacker.
Countess because she's not really an auto champ either. She's in and out
She's
with
melee.
abilities.
I did put it on Countess, and I was like, why did I do this?
True.
This isn't working at all. And I was like,
Has
well,
anybody tried it on Sev?
I haven't tried it on Sev, but I think it could be good.
Jungle clear.
I think it could be a good additive, yeah.
Just more basic attacks. He's just gonna get tankier as the game goes on. A little bit of basic, little bit of auto attack speed.
You're splashing damage in this kit anyways, yeah.
J-Pie, message down below what it's like on Sev. I know you've tried it. You've had to.
Ask J-Pie, right? By this point, he's got to. But
speaking of that Magus Bolt, you said it's in crossbow.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. The Magus Bolt, you said it's in the GD crossbow as well.
Yeah.
It takes over the.
It replaces,
that the yellow vial. Is that in anything else, or did that just get completely taken out of the game?
I think it was only in that. Yeah. I don't think it was in anything else.
Because the vial always signified attack speed, right?
Right.
I'll be honest, I like the bow anyway. For cross,
it looks the item
cross bow
really good.
The vial didn't really make
bolt,
sense.
Yeah.
The actual arrow makes much more sense.
Yeah. And I think that's the best item art I've seen yet.
Yeah, I
to
like
be honest.
I like it. It's different, but still does the job in terms of.
It shows what, like, if I look at that, I'm gonna assume it's some kind of magical arrow versus, So I think it really gets the point across.
Yeah, I see
like more directed.
I see the sonic boom on the arrow, like the wind current, and so to me, I think that can symbolize a speeding arrow, so for attack speed.
See, but I also see these white flecks. I also could confuse it for, and just being that devil's advocate, I confuse it for a freeze arrow.
Okay.
The blue and those white flecks, I think that's yet to slide. All right, if I use this, I'm gonna slow somebody down.
Damn, now I wish it would have been a freeze arrow.
Give me that item.
Yeah, like
I'm just saying, that's what...
You imagine a CC slow on basic attack effect instead of extra damage?
No,
no thanks. No. I don't want to imagine that at all.
No.
So,
but yeah, I think the item fits into the game really nice. I think there was an empty spot and it filled it in really nicely. I know it was actually a community suggested item, so I don't know if they had this in the works before that or if it was brought up, but it was community mentioned in the concepts vault before it came out.
I like the potential it opens up for the game. Like, just like, again, more off meta
Diversity,
building, more diversity,
exactly.
yeah. Or like, for example, like, I'll be real with you, man. If somebody can actually build a full blue Grim and still do consistent damage as well.
Exactly. Yep. Very good.
Which
for
he
Grim
already
too.
scaled off of the energy power on his basics.
He's really good with this item. Extremely good.
I wouldn't know about that. My games don't go beyond 20 minutes, so.
You're
I
gonna
feel
get
that.
items in and the game's over.
Jeez. I'm hitting 40s.
When you're that good as Blue Sky, you just win the game all the time. Just like just
all around.
It must be it.
Yeah, all right.
One of the two teams is FFing. Which one we don't know.
I'm so good. I make people on my team want to surrender.
Is that how that works?
Let's not dive deeper in that rabbit hole.
Leave that there.
But no, bro, I'll be real. I like the variety that's coming every single patch. At least something is getting.
It changes
at you, right?
the game a little bit. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what we need when it's It's been like what 8 months since a hero. It's a very dry period. So stuff like this, little things, it does something at least.
Yeah,
it fills that little niche.
I noticed a bug. I noticed
a
bug with the Magus crossbow though.
Okay.
You can actually, the store will allow you to buy 2 Magus bolts. It does that on another item as well. I forget what it is, but like if I have the Magus bolt already in my one of my 6 spots.
Like you've already bought it, okay?
Yeah, I go back to the store and I have like 1100 gold or whatever, and I'm trying to decide whether I want to buy, the 450 or the 950 item. I'm looking at my Magus crossbow or my Magus bolt, and it's lit up in the store, and I'm like, I could buy this. So I clicked on it, and it bought it again. 1,000 gold went down the drain, and I was like, ooh.
We're gonna do
So,
it,
yeah.
1,000 back,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Well,
you
because
could always do that.
Yeah, you can. That's
Because
normal.
Because
The
what
Paul has no
it's doing
prevention
is,
for that.
what you're doing is the game's allowing you to buy what's the blue?
For the
What if I
other
wanted
one.
the GD?
So
if I
Magus
wanted the
crossbow,
GD crossbow?
and if you want GD crossbow as well. What if you're Grim and you want both crossbows?
So the thing is does it stack then? Does the 25 attack speed stack? Does the 25 or the 15?
Yes, because those are unique.
Everything that isn't a
passive.
unique passive. Correct. Everything that isn't a unique passive. So even since they do have different passives, technically everything will stack if you do decide to build both.
So I can get 30 on hit physical damage with two of those.
Well,
No,
you're
because
talking because here's the thing. Magus bolt, two Magus bolts, you're not going to get that stacking because the exact same sentence is repeated.
Yeah.
As soon as the unique passive is repeated, you only get one of those effects. But if you could decide to continue forward into GD crossbow or into what's this one called again? Magus crossbow. The actual unique passive changes for each of those. So they have their own passive. So at that point, yes. But if you have 2 Magus bolt, you're literally just going to get the attack speed, no passive
you're gonna get,
on the second
you'll
one.
have 50 attack speed and you'll have the 15 on hit.
Not worth. You literally
Definitely
just spend 1,000 on 25 attack speed.
So you're saying I don't get 15 on hit damage for both bolts? Like 15.
You'll get
you have 2
you'll
bolts,
get
no.
115.
Only the first one.
Gotcha. All right.
You get 115 and you'll get 50 attack speed, so 50 attack speed because that's gonna stack.
You bought
the
it
attack
twice.
speed will stack.
Yep.
Which for
But you only get
2,000
one
gold
of you.
is a rip. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, that is not what you want to be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but so it's not a bug for that because they're allowing you to
build off into
however
both,
you want to build, go into both, and that's why it's there.
They need to when they release new items, I wish they would update their website like within a couple of hours at least.
So
if I go on the website, I can't, and I look at items, I can't find those items.
Yeah, the website's definitely behind, but I know it is actively getting worked on. It's one person that handles it, and they're doing a lot of work. Yeah,
I just checked that a lot has been updated, but I will say I don't disagree. It should just be coordinated more. Like even if you gotta wait an extra 2 days before you drop these notes, and make sure that the website's updated at the same time. Be like, hey, this day 3 p.m. Make sure the website's live. We're announcing all the information at 3 p.m. Also, let's sync it out in order to be a little bit more efficient. It also looks a little bit more professional, to be honest.
Because I can't, like right now, I can't see the passive. I can't look at it right now unless I go look at because I see for the Magus crossbow, but I can't see the Gravedigger one to check like if the passives and the damage is the same for each of these Magus bolts.
Yep, understandable.
I can't look at the Gravedigger one. It's been how many days? It's a little frustrating.
So yeah, I would just say, and that's something that's we've talked about in the past, and that's something that's they're definitely getting a little better at. It's not like we're waiting 4 weeks for the website to update now. You feel me? At least now within the week or so it's been getting updated. But I do feel like it's still behind. Some progress is good, but I think the website being synced to the game really is one of those things that needs to have a little bit more priority or better coordination, specifically when when you're so proud of the fact that most of the traffic of your game goes through your website.
And that's the thing, you want a lot of traffic going to your website. So when it's outdated, that's going to make people more inclined to go to fault metrics or whatever. Like, why would I go to this site when I can go to this site that is updated?
Why not just hire the fault metrics guy and let him do your website?
I don't know if they want an open API kind of like that. I don't think they want.
We'll bring him on in.
Let's give
this guy a job.
I mean, it's an interesting point, but I'll be real. I don't even think the fault metric guys, because there's 2 of them mainly. I don't even think they want to, because it's more like a coexistence next to each other, focusing on different things. You feel me?
Okay.
Like one of them is all about stats, and then the other one, because that's the thing, on the fault website, you got to be mindful. A lot of that is going to go into like PR, marketing, advertising, and such. What pictures do we put where? What do we want their focus to be on? Are we going to have them focus on this new skin? Are we going to have them focus on a new item, etc.? There's a lot more that comes into it as opposed to just being statistically
information.
Driven,
Exactly.
Yeah. I can't say I went checked. The game is updated. Like you can literally see all those passives and stuff like that, like in the game, but the website is still behind.
Yeah. Yep. And I think part of that is, I think they're trying to rebuild how they display all this information. So I think they're putting precedent on that over updating it right now, rather than do twice the work when they're completely maybe redoing pages or whatever, getting themselves situated that way.
Like a patch 13 situation, like they're trying to get some of the back end work
Exactly
done in order to
stuff you are
optimize
not
it down
seeing,
the road.
but it is happening. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and it needs to be updated, because literally if you go to the update, you go to the website and you go to crossbow, it literally says it's built out of Academy pistol. Like you pretty much get Academy pistol, then you get crossbow. There's nothing else that you build into. Then there's 2 other branches of that tree that you get. So it definitely is lacking information of how that tree that gets built. So so that makes sense that if that's what's going on, they're kind of
it's a lot of back end stuff for sure.
Be looking. Yep.
So
now,
I'm sure it'll come.
I was gonna say, I actually want to go over these bug fixes real quick, because I'm one that really doesn't care about bug fixes. But there was a comment that changed.
That's wild.
So I was gonna say, there was a comment that did change my mind. Yep. And it's basically based off of the state of the game, right? It's an ever developing game. And somebody in the YouTube comments actually said, Windu, I would love it if you actually go through these bug fixes, because some of those bug fixes are the reason that some of us stop playing.
Don't come back. Exactly.
Yeah, once we see that bug is fixed in your video, we might have a reason to come back if that was the main thing stopping us. Like, for example,
the first thing, thanks for watching.
Yeah, for sure. And we appreciate the feedback.
Yeah,
but I would say, honestly, Grim is probably one of those good examples, since we're already here. The fact that
Kalari is a good example too.
well, trust me, we're gonna get to her. We're gonna get to her. But
I'm talking about the Grim part.
Yeah. Okay, I was gonna say, the fact that Grim before actually could pop his bubble while stunned, like,
that's nuts,
bro. It was so stupid. I saw so many people abuse that. I witnessed JPie rage at that shit live, because he would teleport as the Countess, ult, and while mid ult animation, he would pop his bubble and cancel the ult damage.
He still does that. I was literally playing Countess yesterday.
It's not. I've seen multiple people say it's still happening, but
it still happens. Yes. Just like Kalari's double jump. How long has that been a bug?
Yeah, that's been fixed multiple times. Well, fixed multiple times.
I have raged out on that on stream and got up and walked away and came back.
It's frustrating. And if it happens now
stuff like that
versus before, I'm tempted to quit. She's already terrible. You're gonna throw a no jump on there?
No,
Rough.
it still happens. Well,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Brutal.
Right. Yeah, let's get the bug fixes and we'll get to Kalari. She's next. Believe me, let's get the bug fixes and we'll get to Kalari.
So they updated Hunter and Queen to work on all minions instead of just enemy minions.
I got flamed about that today. I
Really?
used Queen. Yeah, I used Queen in the jungle. So when you say all minions, do you mean jungle?
It does work on jungle minions. Yeah.
That's what I'm implying. Enemy and jungle minions. Because you imagine if you could proc Hunter off of your own minions? Well, that's some Dota shit, bro. Let me smack my own minion and kill it.
I hate that about Dota. Oh.
I just got a visualization of smacking my own minion as he runs up the lane.
No, but that's a strat in Dota too. Like it's
the baseball,
properly implemented stat.
Give him the baseball, smack on the butt, and your minion, get out there, buddy.
I'll be real. If they let me do that, I would ramp up Hunter. I would ramp up, you know, like which one is it? Oh my god, I forgot the name. The one that they just introduced like 2 patches ago, where that Sparrow went crazy with the attack speed one. Holy shit, rampant attack speed.
Infernal Gunblade.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
The item? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like, imagine if you could stack that on your own minion. You accidentally killed you killed your minion. Oops, 1 minion. But by the time you start the fight, you were able to ramp that up at a safer distance.
Yeah,
absolutely crazy.
No, thank you.
Absolutely crazy. But then again, I don't know, bro. I'm not gonna dive into Dota comparisons here. But so items, they fixed an issue causing blinks to not teleport when they were placed in the ground. I don't think the blink should ever be in the ground, regardless. To be honest, like there should be
skipping.
Are they talking about upstairs? If you use the blink and the staircase is there, even though you like angle it up, you would still hit the stairs and not go anywhere. Is that what they mean?
Yeah,
maybe.
Did you ever use Gideon's teleport when it didn't work correctly? You could throw it into stairs. It's the exact same thing where it just it clips the geometry and it just doesn't do anything. You just sit.
Yeah.
Because it can't teleport you
the
out of the
interaction with the geometry then. Like
exactly.
Gotcha. And then Curse Blink fixed an issue causing it to show 2 damage pop-ups. It's just like a visual glitch where it showed damage numbers twice.
Could be scary.
And then,
you
dude,
see
right?
I'm
getting out to
I'm getting out.
Small health potion fixed issue causing the potion to consume items if it was used while dying.
Like consume items, like you're gonna lose your fully built item when you use a health pot while dying.
I have a video of it on my Twitch.
Oh, so how does it work?
So I was playing Mariel, and I had boots. I had the 1,000 cooldown reduction boots.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get something. Oh, I was trying to use a ward or something. I was trying to use one item, and the item wouldn't work. So I switched places. I put it on like number 3, and then I switched my boots to number 2, and then tried it. It still didn't work. Then I put my boots on number 3, and then I put the potion on number 2, and then boots disappeared. And then I got no healing, but the boots disappeared.
Wow.
So that's a deleted an item. That's a big one.
Nuts.
Yeah.
It's on my Twitch channel. I upload all the highlights. Yeah, so they're all there, all of them.
Bet we'll put the clip down below.
You missed one thing in there. The magician fixed magician not reducing the cooldown of ultimates.
Oh, I totally skipped by it. You're right. So
that's kind of massive.
Yeah, that's a big bug, bro. Like that's literally part of the point why you build magician.
That's kind of like when Queen wasn't working at all. Like and there was no word of it, and people were taking Queen and they were just doing nothing with it.
With that in mind, is there a place that we as a community can currently see the actively known bugs and updated lists?
I brought this up because there's nothing. So I played a game called what's it called? It's like that. It's Grounded. That's what it was called. They have
the scroll simulator in the the log is what you have to do. So you just keep on scrolling until you read everything.
So on their website, they have a page that it's like a list of bugs, and then side bubbles off of it saying corrected and when, and then so that they just keep moving and moving and moving, and any in the back, as they correct them, they'll cross them out and then put the fix beside them, so you can actively see. And that's wicked for like a player to see. Here's all these bugs. They've all been tackled. They're making huge progress. Right now, you're just seeing trickle of little things being fixed. Doesn't look like a lot, but if you looked at the past 2 months, it's a lot of bug fixes. Been done. Exactly.
Now I will say that'll also help to prevent reporting the same bug over and over and over. It'll help optimize that. And I've heard the argument that it's like, whoa, it's a commonly known bug. And it's like, it's only known if you came across it or if you got told.
Exactly.
How many players are literally just like, let me grab magician because I think it's working as it should. And now I lose. And I'm like, I thought I would get my ult a lot faster.
Yeah. Not everybody's paying attention to the numbers, the stats.
I talked about this in my stream.
It's rough, man.
Yeah, it would be nice to see all bugs. Nice. I think that should happen for sure. Like, yes, it takes somebody to add it and stuff, but like, is it not better in the long term for them to have an active list of bugs and for the community to see them actively working on it?
Because it's frustrating when, like, if you play the game as much as I do and like you go into the Discord and you say what you like you might say what the brief description of the bug is. I'm just asking, are you guys aware of this? Mainly because I don't want to waste my time to go highlight a part of my video, type up a description, make it look nice. And it's like, I don't get paid for this. I'm trying to help you. So just respond to me and at least tell me, yes, we know about it. Like, all right, cool. I don't have to do it then.
Yeah. And that's another thing where if we had that, you could just
nobody
go on
here
that
likes
website.
BuilderBot.
Yeah, it's a lot of work for what it is.
I've never used it once.
I've used it for people because they won't report bugs.
That's extra. Shout out to you. That's extra as shit, bro.
Give this guy
I'm not dealing with that.
Jesus, bro. Now, hey, real quick on Boris. His passive lifesteal put at 5% always. I'll be honest. I don't like it.
No, that's not the change we needed. He's a snowbally champ, and you're making it worse early game?
Well,
why?
Yeah.
I feel like this is the proverbial dead horse.
Yeah.
Like, do they already know that, like, maybe Boris needs to be... maybe we need to, like, just relook at the whole kit?
I think that's the hard part, is it's a kit thing. As much as you change a lot of those numbers, if you change it too much, he's terrible. And if you change it a little bit more, like the other way, he's great.
Why do they feel like it's a good idea to give one hero every strength that every other hero has? Like, let's give one guy every strength that every other hero has.
Better scaling than every other hero.
Like, I don't understand. Like, to me, it is not a complex theory. Like, well, maybe we shouldn't have one hero do everything.
Like, right. Here's the thing. For the passive, I didn't agree with the fact that he's skilled in lifesteal. He didn't need that in his kit, right? I don't agree with 5% being the starting amount of lifesteal. Like, I say, if you want him to have lifesteal that bad, which he doesn't have to, part of a jungler sometimes is not having that sustain. Just throwing it out there.
If you want it.
Throwing it out there. You want lifesteal, there's an 1100 item that'll easily give him some lifesteal on his basics, and he can go on about his way, right?
And his kit would still be great.
And he would still fucking demolish people, by all means. So I brought it up in the past. I thought his lifesteal should be removed, but I don't think a 5% here was the answer, because if you look, the first three are 2 to 6, 2, 4, 6. And I'll be honest, the part where Boris becomes the biggest problem is that 2, 4, 6
Yeah.
Like,
he's running around late game constantly. That's where it is.
Late game, yes, it was an issue being above that 5% by all means. So that is a direct
dashing through a wave, healing completely. It was a problem, definitely.
That's what I was going to say. I think the 5%, he's the problem with Boris is he's a early game, mid game, and late game problem. Like, he's a problem in all three phases.
He's not weak.
Giving him a buff in the early game, but a nerf in the late game isn't going to help that situation, because you're just going to feed him faster.
Yeah. He's just getting ramped up to that point. So sure, he's not healing as much. Yeah, but
if they would have done like drop it down like a 1 point, like literally do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but like a 1.5, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5 for your levels, that would have been
5% lifesteal on him late game would have been.
Yeah, would have been exactly. Yeah, I'm all for little nerfs to get somebody to where they need to be, because I don't want to gut a hero. It's not fun for the mains. It's great for the people that have hated Boris forever, but It's not realistically the way to do it. But doing it this little, it's not it either. You gotta find that nice middle ground, definitely.
I will say Titan Slayer helps out a lot. Like, Boris isn't so scary, even as like a Kalari player. If you can equip Titan Slayer after like GD crossbow and some boots or something, that does help muzzle the bear a little bit. I'm at least able to 1v1.
Pre-patch that helped muzzle the bear with Kalari.
Well, Kalari's damage isn't that bad when you like get built. It's just the other tools that she has to help you.
It's getting built is the problem.
Point. Yeah. But Titan Slayer does help with the bear.
Gank with only slows and stuff. Not really it when you can't go invis.
We all agree. It's definitely it wasn't the right thing to do, and it was a bad way of doing it. Like 5% early game is not what we needed. You know, I get, like I said, if you bring it down, do only 0.5 in the early game and then end it with fucking 4.5 at the end or something. I don't, however you want to do the increments, you know, I don't care, you know, but still should have been incremental. You know, giving him a buff early game is not how you take care of somebody who's a problem early, mid, and late game.
What I have noticed is when they like go these sweeps with these heroes, I noticed them doing each hero differently. Like the Boris, they keep doing it small, like little small things that aren't doing anything. And then with Kalari, you have like there's other heroes too where they just did a sweeping
like drastic changes.
And maybe
they did a pretty sweeping one too.
Yeah, maybe they're just trying to figure out like how do we nerf and buff heroes in the future. Let's do one hero this way, see how it works, and let's do one hero this way, see how it works. That's the only other. That's
still learning for sure, definitely.
Yeah, I will say that it is worth mentioning. Of course, I think it's obvious, but it is worth mentioning the fact that not everybody probably agrees with what we're saying, right?
Oh, definitely.
But I do know that at least my perspective, and I know that a lot of people also feel this way. I would also like to see or like to understand why certain patches get done. For example, in Kalari, they put a paragraph explaining this is why we think. Amazing. I like it. Good thing. Yeah. That's what I want. Because tell me why this is the choice that they made for his passive lifesteal on Boris. We don't fucking know.
That's about it.
All I know is whether I agree or disagree, the devs wanted this to happen. The testers allowed it to happen. And by the time it reaches the community, at the end of the day, the perception is this is what they want. And I'm sitting here wondering why.
Is that what do they want that? Why I don't want that? Yeah. Why?
So I would, even if it's just like a quick sentence, like, hey, we thought his lifesteal wasn't enough early game and we thought it was too strong late game. So this is the choice that we're making. One sentence. I might not agree with it, but I at least understand their logic behind it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And as an objective person, you can say, I understand why they want to test it this way. I may not like it, but, let's play the hero.
Like, I disagree, but I know. At least, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You understand why they're trying it. I think that's great. And when I saw that paragraph, I'm like, wow, that's what people have been asking for. And it's like, I understand why they did it. And it makes sense.
Honestly, the
ones who don't understand is the Kalari mains, even though they read the paragraph.
Went
off in Gen Chat. Nothing against you, Blue Sky. You weren't the one I'm talking about.
I saw Blue Sky go Kalari like 37 times in a row, no matter what. He's like, get some Kalari solo, get some Kalari.
Let's figure it out.
Be like, hey, man,
because I'm trying to figure it out. So when they say, are we on Kalari now or
no, we're on Gideon.
Well, so here, let's just do Gideon real quick. So his right mouse button, they increase his range on his right mouse button, and now it no longer deals reduced damage to minions, which I will say, I remember us talking about the fact that they're like, okay, so they're nerfing his wave clear because it was a little bit too strong, but they kept his damage. At the time, I'm like, okay, I understand the pro and con of it, right? Now I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, so he can throw it further and he can hit minions harder. So they brought his wave clear back. So what the fuck was the point of the other patch?
So yeah, there was like, so everything with the 4 patches of Gideon, did anything change, or are we right back to square one? Bro, because that's what I feel like happened. I feel like we're back at square one.
It's pretty similar. It's pretty similar.
So what was the point?
It's like they did a lap. Yeah, they did a lap, adjusted him back, and it's like he's a little different.
Well,
but
no, there
we
is
kind of
something
like
different.
them this way. The
radius
is still effective.
It's still smaller.
Slightly.
Yeah.
So
slightly, yeah, whatever that means.
I get why they did the initial changes to him. He was strong.
Yes.
They nerfed him hard. And I think they realized, oh, we just made Gideon pretty much unplayable against any other mid. Because they can clear a wave, and Gideon's got to dump his entire kit to get anywhere on the map. Yeah. So you didn't see Gideon's much after that. Gadget was just wrecking everybody. She has no contest. Gideon's a massive contester to Gadget. He just get in her face for free, drop rocks on her. So I think they realized we overdid it, and they're toning it back to where it was. But they still have that radius, the range, like they still have that stuff.
So how do you guys feel about that concept idea? The whole, hey, we made him too weak, let's make him stronger. As opposed, in wave clearing specifically, as opposed to, well, maybe Gideon isn't the problem. Maybe the other mages have way too much wave clear, considering all the slows in Gadget's kit, considering a knock-up in Bellica's kit, and they still got all this crazy wave clear.
But maybe that's what they want.
Well, right? I don't disagree that's probably what they want. I just don't understand why trying to support such a bursty early to mid game, because that promotes more brawler environment. Definitely. You feel me?
This is probably what they want.
Yeah. And
most of the players want to be excited.
Well, since we don't have an explanation,
and that's what I was just gonna say. If you had an explanation there, you'd know exactly why they did it. They would have been like, oh, he was underwhelming, getting his ass kicked by every other mid laner, just not really where he was, and we had to bring him back. I think that's what the main purpose of it was, but that's our ideas exactly.
It would be nice to see what they're.
But I think the change is good. I do.
Every time something happens, I'm like, what is the mindset? Like, where are we going with this? I still hate these minions. And I'm like, why? Like, why do they do this with these minions?
I like the minions, actually.
Like when they run into the jungle?
I like the minions. Yeah, the range change, like it's, I don't have an issue with the range change. I don't have an issue with the minions doing more damage to the squishies. Like, it really makes team fights, not team fights, but it makes making engaging a fight. You need to know, how many minions that your opponent has, because you're gonna get, taken down, or like go ahead, bring it on. I have this whole wave behind me, and I'm
totally okay to fight
them. I'll just run between my minions.
Yeah.
I've won plenty of fights against Kai, because Kai decided he was gonna try to fight me. Well, sorry, you're stuck. I'm shooting.
How about when you outplay your laner and you do what you're supposed to do, you outlane him and you kill him, and you're trying to just, like, okay, I need to get out of here now, and your minions are following you up the entire lane. No, like, I don't like that.
That's a different situation.
I will say what you mentioned about the jungle. Definitely, like, I'll be real with you. I'm never vibing whenever I'm on that gold buff wall and there's a whole wave of minions next to me in the middle of the team fight.
Yeah.
Hey man, shouldn't you be 10 feet back that way? Like,
why are they even going in the fog wall?
Yeah. I uploaded a video where I was either Countess or Kallari. I was an assassin, and the enemy team is in mid pushing up to our tier 2. I'm in the fog wall. There was no ward. I had a rat.
Oh, I saw this clip.
And the minions aggroed me through the fog wall, and they all came rushing at me through the fog wall. And the enemy team.
That should be a cut-off sight line. That should not happen. Yeah. I don't even think they should be walking into the jungle. I think they should lose aggro as soon as you run into the jungle.
Again,
like,
I rage.
That wall, they lose vision, get out. Maybe it's a vision issue. Maybe that's what it is.
Could be.
Because maybe even though players can't see the vision, maybe the AI can.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of vision.
I keep bringing this up, and they keep saying minions are as expected. I don't believe that is what it is. I don't believe that is what it is. I think that they're.
All right, so you know what?
Hold up, I have to ask a question.
Speaking of vision, hold on.
Speaking of vision, I want to ask you guys this whole Kallari thing. Would you say it's a nerf or a buff? Just yes, nerf or buff? What do you think? Blue sky, nerf?
For me, nerf.
I'll let you guys talk. Maybe.
Well, no, I want to hear. Initial thoughts.
Overall thing, nerf or buff? What do you think?
It is definitely a nerf.
Windu, what do you think?
I think they just need to rework our homegrown in general at this point.
That's not answering my question. Nerf or buff, dude?
Here's the thing.
That sounds like a partner.
No,
you're a partner.
No. Because here's my thing. At the end of the day, Kallari is the hero that I hate the most. Right? By all means.
Yeah,
let me finish my fucking sentence, Scooch.
You're just like question.
No. Because here's the thing.
He's saying he's a little biased. So
no, I'm saying I don't give a fuck if they nerf her to the ground. I don't give a fuck if they remove her from the fucking game.
Okay,
that's how I feel.
That's not what I'm asking, and that's fine. You can have that opinion.
So here's the thing. There's pros and... Let's say nerf for the average player. Nerf for the average player, but it's got a higher skill ceiling. Let's put it that way. Anyhow.
So it's a nerf. That's what you're going with?
Call it a nerf. Call it a nerf.
Okay.
Anyway, I want to elaborate.
I had somebody come in my DMs and said that she got buffed. And I'm like, huh?
Definitely not.
So we had a whole debate. We were going at it. I'm like, what? I started naming off things. Stealth duration reduced, nerf. Mana cost increased, nerf. You know, range reduced, nerf. Yeah, I read all these, like all these things are nerfs. Yes, you do have occasional health regeneration per second.
Like a couple balances, but usually it's detrimental.
If you want to say it was a balancing, fine. You don't want to call it a nerf. You don't want to call it a buff. You can call it a balancing.
Let me call it a balancing.
But I want to know what side of the argument you're going to be on in this DM that was a part that I was a part of.
On this fence.
But here's my thing on it. And I will say that having tested multiple versions of Kalari throughout the years, back in Paragon, Legacy, Monolith, over Primefall, Predecessor, etc., right? I think, first of all, there's a big vision issue still going on in the game, regardless of Kalari. Let's just throw that out there. Wards, sentry wards, this ward can see her, that ward can't see her, yada, yada. There needs to be a little bit more simplification there, and at the same time, adding complexity through variety. That's how I feel on that. Mm-hmm. Second of all, again, they could fucking get rid of her for all I care. Whatever, Yikes. Bro. It'll be all right. Like, you know what? You literally want to make her a statue on the corner of the map? Do it by all means. I don't give a fuck. To be honest. Yeah. Just give me something to stare at in duo lane at least. Put her out there. Like, I'd rather look at her there, to be honest. But
lucky.
I agree with you to the point that if you actually sit here and you're objective about it, like if you sit here and you're objective about it, you know, this got reduced, that got increased. Most of the things in there were either adjustments or reduction. Quite frankly, there wasn't anything that was just specifically increased because she was lacking, right?
They were bringing up the other stuff because they brought down, like invis. They're bringing down the amount of time, so you're getting less regen over amount of time. So obviously you need it in a shorter time in a quicker burst. That's not a buff. That's just balancing for the nerf they just did. Is what that was.
Now I will say, her ultimate having different ranges.
Yes.
Excuse my bluntness. That's one of the dumbest changes I've ever seen in the history of balancing. I'll explain why, because I don't want to just criticize without proper explanation, right? The issue with the cross-map ult is the option of so much mobility, right? And it was one of the things that made her kit so interesting back when they first changed it to be so. It was a very hard thing to balance. They try to work with the damage numbers, etc. But it really is one of those things that the whole purpose of it is the mobility. Once you restrict once you restrict the mobility in that ult, at that point, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't want that fucking ult. The whole point of that ult is that mobility. Now you're telling me that for me to be able to be at my tower for inhib, for example, and if I want to teleport all the way to their inhib and join my team fight immediately, oh bro, I had to walk to T2. I'm sorry, bro. That's not a good change. If you want to restrict the mobility, change the fucking ult. Just change it. Like, I understand the animation changing is going to take more, etc. But I've seen different iterations of Kalari that if you want to change her that bad, bro, remove her from the game or just leave her as is.
They did
work on that rework. I see what you did. So work on the rework and then literally just come out with a new kit for the character. Quite frankly. But I think that part right there, the range on her ult, it's just the dumbest thing ever. That alone is reason to not use Kalari in my book, and I wasn't going to anyway. But
could you imagine a brand new player jumping into the game and picking up Kalari? What is that radius? Who knows?
Bro,
I don't know. I'm gonna click R and I'm gonna be like, I can't click this person. This sucks.
Here's the thing: they mention it in there to give you an example, right? It's like, oh, so 10,000 units is about all the way from a side lane to just before middle. So maybe we're talking about somewhere around the blue shrine, right?
Yeah.
The second one is just after the mid lane. So maybe now it's on the other blue shrine, on the other side, right? And then the third one is basically going to from one side of the lane to the furthest pit. So if you're on duo, the furthest you'll get is Orb Prime. If you're on solo, the furthest you'll get is Raptor. You don't even have the potential to go from side to side. Nonetheless, the length of the actual thing.
There's no split pushing anymore with Kalari. She's not a split pusher.
Well, here's the thing. The only time you'll be actually able to split push is if you're at their inhib trying to get to the other inhib, because that distance you can't close. But you can't be like, I'm setting lane all the way at my T1 left, and then I'm teleporting all the way to their right inhib.
Help my team. Yeah.
There is no such thing there, and it's okay if they don't want it to be that way. Again, the original Clario was more of a dash than anything, right? Similar to kind of what they got in her kit right now. So there's been several iterations, but it's really one of those things for me that if they don't want it to be a specific way, they literally should just make a bold stance with it, change it, and be like, hey, we don't want it to be this way. This is what we're going to do about it. As opposed to, hey, we're keeping the same animation because it's going to cost us a lot more work in order to change the animation, change the ability. We're just going to tone down the distance and hope that it's okay. This is the best result with as little work as possible. That's honestly the vibe that I get out of it.
Yes, it's like here's a Band-Aid and we're going to slap it on there. We don't know when we're going to fix it, but have fun with this. Not great champion now because of it. And it's not as rewarding to player and stuff. Obviously, everybody wants a champ that destroys everything, but like I don't think that's the right fix for sure. One thing I also would have liked in this notes, throw a picture of the mini map and show me from here to here is where this first ult can go. From here to here is the second ult. Like, give me visuals. The normal player doesn't care about units, like the casual player. They're not going through here and picking this note apart. They're like, I just want to physically see what's the distance. I think that would have been a great addition.
My major grief.
I got diarrhea trying to think about what they were trying to describe the range was, because I'm thinking if I'm running up the lane, I'm thinking, can I run up the lane? How far can I ult up the lane? And they're talking about going left to right on the map. Yeah, and I'm like,
give me like a circle radius of where I can ult. Yeah,
well,
that would have been nice.
Yeah, go ahead, Coach. Go ahead. I got
it. My issue with this maximum range thing is the fact that they change. Like, I hated it when they did it with Richter and his pull. Like, you get set, you understand, like, okay, if you're looking at the opposing enemy, you're like, okay, he's at the range, I can do my pull. I'm gonna sit here and do a pull. But now it's like, wait, what level is my pull? All right, okay, so I can do this much range. All right, oh fuck, I miscalculated. I was on the wrong.
Did they ever actually do that? I can't remember.
I don't remember, but that was my argument for it. I don't think
they ever did it, but
what they did, Richter, is they slowed his pull down too much to where now you can easily dodge it. I can literally laugh as it goes by me, like, haha, you missed. Like, it's so easy. Like, the only time you can pull me is if I turn my head. I got pulled. Well, when I was playing with you, I got pulled because
you walked backwards.
There was a minion who was like literally speeding across the rest of the minions doing their normal mosey on. This other minion's like, went to the fucking tower. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? All of a sudden, I'm like, huh? I'm like, oh shit, I just got pulled. I'm like, well, damn it, only because I wasn't paying attention.
Richter threw a quarter on the ground, and he was like, distracted by this.
That minion took off, dude. I'm like, what is going on? I need to go back and get that clip just so I can show the team. That's probably a bug. There's something that shouldn't have been happening. So, anyways, I'll go back and find that after the show. But no, the changes, like it's too much for the player to, I guess maybe on higher elos, I don't know, because I'm down here Bedrock. That's too much for a player to understand what's going on. Like, okay, I can now change. I can now go this far. I can now go this far. I can, it should just be one base range, and you can get this distance. If you need to change the damage, you know, the scaling of the damage or something to kind of make that work. You know, all right, you're at level 1, your scaling is this. At level 2, your scaling is this. At level 3, your scaling is this. That's fine. You know, the range of the Murdock ult is it's a global. I get it. So this is no longer global, but I mean, like it stays the same. But you just do more damage as it goes up. That's what should be happening. You shouldn't have this different max ranges. It's too much for a casual player. And if you want player retention, this is gonna help.
Yeah, like I think we should have high skilling, like skill cap champions for sure. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel right, especially when you're going from what she was to this. That's drastic. And not to mention, she still has the same cooldown for an absolutely terrible ult compared to what it was.
Yes, thank you.
How are you going to keep a massive cooldown when you're cutting it down in half?
Bro, you can't even pop her ult just to get vision and not use it.
That's the thing. Why doesn't she still have the vision? Screw giving it to the team. Just give her the vision. Why can't she have it?
Yeah, there were times where and it's just creative use of the character, right? The other team, like, they're thinking, oh, he wasted his ult. And I'm like, no, I'm just trying to see where you guys are at.
Yeah.
I know you guys are grouped up because you're afraid of me. I'm not going to ult into 3 or 4 people at once. But I now
loses the utility.
Knows where you're at. Like, now I cannot use this ult for anything.
I understand why you can't see because it's a recastable ult now. So if you could just throw it out there every 10 seconds, that'd be horrible. But like, so I get why they don't allow you to get vision.
Yeah, but, which I was okay with. Yeah,
but I don't think that's a change for her.
I honestly, as a Kalari, I just got into playing her a lot. I didn't mind the ult change, like, because it still does damage and it still goes a distance further than other characters can use. I can still use creative ways to get across the map. So I didn't mind the ult change as much as the most damage that you get out of Kalari is literally hitting somebody out of stealth. Yep. And change the stealth duration, it is literally a useless ability. You cannot do anything. Before, I disagreed with the sound it made, because if you do it too close, they know you're there, they just run.
There should be no sound now.
So so now there's no sound, but you still can't get to anyone before you pop.
There is sound still.
Oh,
you still have the sound.
So you
but now you only got 6 seconds max.
Yeah, but the problem is now, okay, so now I'm just gonna have to, like, I can't change the sound. They can still hear me. I still can catch them though if I can just get to them, and I can still do the damage even though they're running away. Maybe I won't get the kill anymore, but at least I can do the damage, and maybe Bellica can drop a bomb under the tower and kill her. I can't even do that because I can't do damage out of stealth anymore. The whole point of Kalari's damage, most of her damage came from out of stealth and then hitting a dagger, right? You come out of stealth, you got the crit already, you got some crit on your basics, and then you hit a dagger, and then you walk away and let your mid lane finisher off.
Get the kills.
You can't even do that anymore. Now you pop out of stealth in their face, and they're like, "Oh, she's right here," and it's like I can't.
Done.
And then trying to use it to get away.
It's not an escape anymore at all.
Yeah,
it's really not.
You can't even get enough distance for them to, like.
If you head in a direction, they know exactly where you're going.
If they lose track of me, they just run in that direction, and I'm gonna pop out of stealth immediately, and then
within a few seconds.
Within a few seconds. So,
I don't agree with that change.
So it makes it a little bit harder.
That's a direct change to the vision issue that I mentioned earlier.
Right.
But now that brings me to this next point. If your issue is that you need to rework your vision system, why are you changing the character? Why don't you teach your players how to use wards? Because even with the way Kalari was before, if I had 2 or 3 players on an enemy team that knew what they were doing, I still couldn't do anything. It doesn't matter how global my ult was. It doesn't matter how much damage I do out of stealth. It doesn't matter how long my was. If they just had rads, I was nullified and I was countered properly, and I could not do anything for my team. So now you do this, and like, why it doesn't? Yeah, it just doesn't.
So they do explain her Q a little bit here, but I'll be honest, from the outside looking in, to me, it looks like one of these band-aids we talked about. We're going to do this to her stealth because we don't have a proper answer or solution to vision
for your vision.
She'll be good again eventually, but for now, she's gonna have to suck until we fix it. Yeah. So that's what it feels like.
What is the actual issue with the vision? What is the actual issue with the vision?
I think it comes down to not having a consumable slot. You can't have a ward late game other than Rad. Like, you obviously have your your wards, but you can't buy a ward. You can't. So that seems like a big problem right away. Late game wards aren't really as valuable.
I think it's the lack of variety, and then tackle that with how complex they decided to make her invisibility. Yeah. It's like, hey, a stealth ward that's also invisible can't see her, but she can see the stealth ward. And then on top of that, a sentry ward can see her, but everybody else can see that one. A radpulse can see her, but you're only going to get a charge every once in a while, stacking a maximum of it. Like, you feel me? So much complexity within 3 items, and it's hard to balance, bro. It's like trying to make a cake with only 3 ingredients. You're gonna fuck up somewhere.
Right. So also, visual-wise, something happened. Like, I was Grim. Countess was getting away from me in the jungle, and I ulted. And I literally watched her go in Viz, Kalari, go in, not on purpose, it just happened, it was perfect timing. Go in front of my ult, take my ult, and she stayed in Viz. I'm like, now wait a minute. Like, if I like, that's something that should pull you out of, like, if I was able to hit you in Viz, you should be able to pull out of it.
Damage isn't going to pull you out of Viz, but CC will. So I get that. Yeah. Like, if you had thrown like the ion bomb or whatever that displaces
the knock out of it,
that will knock her out of ult. But
I don't think damage should pull her out, because if she went invis, she would instantly get pulled out. If she went near anybody and went invis, you pop her once and that invis is useless.
Yeah. I think the problem with that is you have an item like Bailarm. As soon as like she goes invis, tick
damage.
Yeah, you see the number.
I mean, I guess I don't know. I think it more.
I mean, you still see the number regardless. That's a good point.
Right, you still get to
see the numbers floating away.
Yeah, you can.
It's like, I'm gonna go that way. And be like 12, right there. Okay.
Maury's tick damage is hitting her. She's running that way.
Yeah. So a little something here. I don't know what's going on here. This is just my speculation. What's going on, and I could be wrong. They'll never own up to it if this is what it is. But ironically, we just had a predecessor, server test weekend, right? And we all got to see their version of Kalari. Their version of Kalari does not have stealth. They have camouflage. What's the word used in this description? True stealth and camouflage. So they're pretty much saying they're going to rework her. But this is what we're gonna. This is our fix for now. Our band-aid. Here we go. So then she's not so oppressive as she was. Okay. This is what we got. Let us work on our vision. Figure this out. Is she gonna come back something similar to what Predecessor has?
I mean, I think Predecessor.
Because even Windu said that was probably the most balanced Kalari he's ever played.
Yeah, I think they did a wicked job on her.
Yeah, because I get that they feel like stealth is too strong. I don't, because when I play against better players, I don't do well, right? So I don't think that was a problem. I think that because they're trying to, have the player base, the average player. So the predecessor Kalari, when she goes into stealth, it's like a slow, and you can still see her. So you're not
gradual.
Stealth is so you still have, now you're making the player think how to use my stealth so that I can get the best value out of it because of how
a higher skill
it's not
ceiling.
You don't just be like, oh, let's just cut it down to 3 seconds. Now it can, what I'm saying? Like, it's lazy. What they did to the Kalari was lazy. That's all.
I would like to see them take notes from the predecessor one, because the camouflage.
I'm sure they did
much better. Like, they eliminated the problem with people hating the global ult, like the burst damage on her other ability. I don't know what it's called, but the X mark, where you do that damage and then you get that big damage afterwards.
Burst afterwards, based on how much
damage or whatever it is. Yeah,
complicated.
That feels assassiny to me. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it does.
You're going in, you're doing a ton of damage, you're running away, and you're letting that big boom hit it, and that's it.
And the Kalari ult, like, I liked it. That's why I didn't have so with what Fault did with her ult. Like, I was okay with it because the Kalari and predecessor, like, and I remember that Kalari in Legacy being like that, and it does a lot of damage, but you just have to be close, right? You have to get close to assassinate your victim. That's what an assassin is. You get close. So I didn't mind that Kalari and predecessor, but this one is not, and it's not the business.
And then that goes back to what Windu said. If you're going to do this, you might as well just change the alt, I think, completely.
And if your issue is the vision system, don't like it was the same argument with the Greystone dude had. Like, the issue is not Greystone, the issue is the player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If the issue is players not learning how to use vision. So players they're not smart enough to learn how to use vision, so let's just change this hero to make it easier for them. Like, to me, that's insulting.
He was pub stompy for sure. She was definitely a pub stomp champ. And every game has that champ.
She's always been designed to be that way. My thing is,
that's the way she was built.
If you don't have players properly learning, right? I completely do understand. It's like, you know what? Until we get a bigger player base, until we get a bigger player base, until we are the game where that Kalari fits in, we need to change her in the meantime, because this is something that I've complained about them in the past, and I will give them kudos for. They've always thought macro. Every change that we're making, this is going to make sense in 6 months. This is going to make sense in a year. This change in 3 months, you're going to love it. But now we're suffering. So I will give them props for the fact that they're like, hey, let's adjust this shit for the now, because she's not in a good place now. Right. And then later we might put her back, or we might put her in a similar spot to where she was beforehand. But it's affecting our community now, and it needs to be addressed now. So I'll give them props.
Boris was affecting the community. Was not. Boris is. So why not nerf Boris like that? You know what I'm saying?
Kalari had a higher win rate. Yeah, Kalari had a higher win rate. I think a higher pick rate too. Like, she was definitely a monster. Especially
this guy here, nonstop.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a change that was needed. I completely agree with that, and they had to do something.
That's what me and Mac were saying last night when we played. Yeah. It was I agree with the change, right? I agree with them doing this change, right? The problem is now we need to balance this change. Yeah. That's where it needs to happen. We're gonna see a balance. Maybe not next, because maybe we need more data points, because a lot of people don't use her anymore. Like, it's just like, so we need you to pick her more, Blue Sky, so we can get some more data points with her. All right, we need you to pick her even more, because nobody else is doing it. All right?
I mean, I still am like, I'm not a feeder with her, but like, I'm still able to do stuff here and there. But
no, Mech's the feeder with her. Like, Mech was just
feeding
that.
Come on now.
Targeted attack.
Be on blast live. Ooh, hate to see it. I'll remember that.
Worth mentioning. Hold on, real quick.
She's still viable. I just don't know if it's terminal.
I was gonna say, it's worth actually reading these notes out, because we've had them on the screen while we talk and everything. A lot of individuals that are only listening might not fully understand what we're going through here.
True.
So on her Q, her shadow bit, her invisibility, long story short, right? So they reduced the duration from, it used to start at 6 seconds and go to 12. It went from, now it starts at 3 seconds and goes to 6 based on levels. So they halved it, essentially. Again, I disagree with it, but I understand the necessity with having to do something like that until a better vision system gets implemented, right?
One thing I would like to see change with this is take away the sound. Right now, I have to walk to a fog wall, activate invis, and then walk out. They can hear me. They're running already. As soon as they hear that stealth initiate, they're on their way back to the tower. That sound needs to go away if you're going to keep the numbers this low.
You have to be at the corner of blue buff, not to hear you and still make it there on now,
which is not possible.
Now it's not possible at all to use it.
So I would like that
assassin.
sound to be changed.
Assassins are quiet.
Yeah.
You know, so
so I think it's okay.
From to make a noise is not something that needs to happen.
Yeah.
I'd be okay if they make it a bigger visual indicator that it's being activated, as opposed to an audible indicator.
What do you mean?
Like, I've seen narrations of her. Well, she'll glow purple as soon as she's going invisible, right? They could do some sort of animation that now as she's walking.
Muriel, Muriel's doing her ult, she goes up. You know she's
there's some purple. You can make it so there's now like a purple ghost trail going behind her as she's going invisible, and you're like, yo, Clark just went invisible around the corner here. I can tell. I didn't see her body, but I saw that trail for a split
starting
second.
point. Exactly, like having like a ghost version of her just sitting where she started invis for like 2 seconds,
and then you can be honestly, there's an invisible Kalari around here. Interesting idea.
I don't necessarily mind the sound if it's cool, right? Like, the predecessor Kalari made a sound, and it's loud. But it was dope.
But it lasted a long time.
But the buff, it lasted a long time, and it took extra time for you to actually become completely.
Yes.
That
was a balancing behind it. Like, there's sound and everything, but
there's a pro and a con.
There's a cast duration, and then even when invis, there's a distance duration.
Yeah.
There's not duration. There's a distance cap in there.
Wraith invis, same thing, loud as hell.
Yeah.
But you can
you knew it was happening from across the map pretty much.
But you can stealth your whole team, and that's powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a team fight one pretty much, because you can just single somebody out real quick.
I think the better part to look at is there's ways to do it properly. There's ways to do it improperly, right?
Yeah.
And making such a drastic change, but not changing every aspect about it, definitely make it even more unbalanced in a different way.
It makes it look lazy.
I vehemently disagree with you knowing you have a problem with the vision system and then changing a hero because of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're changing things that have nothing to do. Yeah, like
okay, let's look at this not at Klari. You have a problem with Boris, right? You don't play Boris much? Or you do play Boris?
I don't play Boris because I feel like he's way overpowered.
Okay.
And it's not even fun to play the game. Like with Boris.
Now, you're a Klari main. You don't think she's a problem. Cooch absolutely hates Klari. Ruins the game for him.
Because Cooch don't use wards.
Bullshit.
I get what you're saying. But it comes down to they do need to make fixes now.
As an ADC, man, I can't get Rad Pulse. I need to ward. I gotta do more than a 10-second ward. That's my problem. So you force me to use a Rad Pulse, and I can only use it for 10 seconds.
Exactly.
But now I don't know when mid's coming over because that 10 seconds is up.
Exactly. Yeah. Fix the vision system. The issue's not Klari.
This Band-Aid's fine.
Yeah. Like,
because you don't play Klari.
We know it's a Band-Aid.
Yeah. When it comes down to it, I understand fixing for now because you want Boris fixed for now, right? Completely.
I would rather you guys just remove, like, just gray him out. Same with Boris. If you can't fix Boris and you can't balance it right now, then you gray it out. And I love playing Klari. I would have been disappointed to have him removed. But
then what would you have preferred, this or grayed out?
Remove, gray out, whichever one. Just remove her until you can fix whatever your issue. Like, tell me that you're working on your vision system, and then say until we fix the vision system, which will be really soon, we're just gonna disable.
But
until we learn.
No,
until we learn.
There's no ETA. I would have liked that. Like, we're actively working on it. I don't even think it says that we're actively working on it.
We don't want it. If they don't have an ETA, don't give me an ETA. We've already dealt with this before.
And make me believe that you feel it's important, that you have a sense of urgency. We are aggressively working on our vision system until then. We're going to
already pissed off the Klari mains, but they're still here playing. Hence why I literally before this I was watching Blue Sky Media play the video game. All right, I was watching him. All right, he's still playing. But you personally are okay with graying him out. If we just instantly just gray out 2 heroes,
that would be
already have a low player base. We have a low player base as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Now all of a sudden those mains aren't even going to be.
Think about all the mains,
even to play.
But because
I can't even touch my hero. Yeah, I'm a Band-Aid and it's not good. I'm not happy with it, but I can still play.
But I can still play it.
I still can't play her. Like, I was only playing her because I
play last night.
Here's the way I am. I cannot have an opinion, even though I played a ton of Klari before the patch. I can't have an actual informed opinion unless I play a lot of people do this. You go on Discord, you got people talking about heroes they never played before. Like, how you have an opinion, you never played the hero. So I've been playing her and I'm not having fun. And every game I'm like, I should not have played Klari. Like, I'm making my team lose. But at the same time, it's like we're at a point where the game doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm trying to gather information because maybe it isn't that bad.
I get what you're feeling, because that is the exact thought process I had last night.
Yeah.
I felt like I'm completely letting the team down because I'm playing a champ that is not up to par with the other champs in the tournament.
Yeah, and I don't mind you removing Klari if you let me know that vision rework has been on our to-do list for a very long time. That lets me know we need to do it, but we don't really care about it, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it does kind of come off as that. I get that.
We're aggressively working on our vision system. Until we complete it, we're going to disable Klari. we are unable to, maybe better wording, right? I'm not a professional when it comes to the wording. Boris's kit is very complex. We're working on it aggressively. Until then, we're disabling Boris. You know what I'm saying? Like, that lets me know they're working on it right now. So this, I mean, I don't know when it's going to happen, but
I do
must
feel
be
like
soon.
Old Paragon players, if they hear that, they're just going to get PTSD of
Rubbed the wrong way.
And he never came back in. He got put in 3 times. Wukong. He got put in three different times. And every time he came back a little bit different, still fucking busted. And it got to the point that towards the end, they're like, you know what? We're just taking him off. You can't play him at all. And we went what, for like 6 to 8 months? You couldn't play him, I think was the number there. And then they're like, oh, we just shut down the game. He never fucking came back.
Well,
the difference is though, is Paragon had a bigger player base. I think if Fault had a bigger player base, then we could do exactly what Luke is saying. We could do it. Like, okay, we're gonna take a couple heroes out because even if those mains do stop, guess what? We still got a good amount of people playing. Like right now, the player base is too small to make those big, like those big of decisions like that.
Yeah.
Say it's only 20 people. That's 20 people less in queue. That's massive. When we only have, it's not obviously peaks of 300 because there's people showing inactive and stuff. But whatever, it's close to that. That's a big hit. That'd be a big hit to your games too. Like it'd be big for sure.
I can agree. I mean, I can agree with that. I just let me know.
She doesn't feel great. I completely agree.
Yeah. So I think just kind of go through this update real quick. Yeah, just to go through what they actually changed. Her health regen per second got increased, making it nice and simple, right? Anybody that wants to go through the exact details can easily find these online. I'll make sure we have a link down below. But yeah, health regen per second got increased by a substantial amount early game, not that much late game. Long story short, her mana cost on her ability, instead of having a flat amount, now it costs more mana and it incrementally scales. And she's not a champ that has a lot of mana, so that's a rough spot.
It doesn't really affect you. You don't really feel that increase because this, like, you don't really feel that. It's not that big of a deal. Mana increase.
Really?
You don't throw as many daggers as I do, clearly.
Yeah, I'm throwing daggers left, right, and center. Wham, wham.
Like I'm a carry Kalari throwing daggers on.
I'm doing 360s and throwing daggers.
If it's on the cooldown, double backflip, the dagger midair, be like, I flexed on you, walk away.
Exactly. And then back saddle back.
Are you hitting these daggers or?
I'm trying to, right? But no. So her Shadow Strike range got reduced from 950 to 750. So
which I didn't mind that, because a lot of the times before, when it was at 950, you would dash past the hero that you're trying to kill, and then you would be out of basic attack range, and you'd have to chase her. So I didn't mind that.
I can see that.
Good.
This is a good change to stop the escape side of it, but keep it as you're fighting and you're using it
more
actively.
Risk to engage.
Exactly. And I didn't mind that. All good.
They did reduce the cooldown early game by 2 seconds, so now you can cast it a little bit faster. I think that's okay, because again, it's more of a hit to her mana consumption in general, making you be a more careful player. Her ultimate, like we said, she doesn't grant vision of the enemy team now. Now it's a lock-on ability. I mean, like it was before, but there is no maximum duration between the casts. Now,
I'm okay with that.
As well, now requires a target to be visible by her team. It's not like she can cast it and just kind of swipe and be like, oh, there's somebody in the jungle, I'm going there.
This change feels terrible when your team is chasing somebody and you click that R button and then it's like, boop.
Oh, no vision.
Because I'm not a Kalari that likes to steal kills, right? If I see someone fighting and they got it under control, I'm not ult, like, you know what I'm saying? But if I see my team chasing someone, if I see my team chasing someone and he's gonna get away, I'll ult him even if they're under tower, because I can dash out. You know what I'm saying? Now
you're not single targeting as much as your team fighting. Yeah.
The part that makes it not so bad is minions count, right? If this
the waves have vision.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like but it's not so bad
as long as there's vision on them. Yeah. Or wards, because again, if you have a ward in their jungle, but that's the thing too. If it's based off of vision, not having a proper vision system or having
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because like if the wards were a little bit simpler, and if there were plenty of wards throughout, you get vision, you're within range, go. You feel me?
Yeah.
But with your 6 wards a game that the average team might throw out. You feel me? It really is one of those things that you feel it more because of the lack of vision or the lack of using the vision, because somebody might not just throw a random ward in that corner anymore because they only get 2 wards. So they might want to put that one by Raptors, and now it's by Raptors. Well, you better hope somebody's at the Raptor pit, Kalari, because that's the only place you're gonna fucking ult to, unless it's a lane. You feel me?
One thing I miss about the wards too, in Paragon, do you remember when you'd place them down? They did it in Pred too, where it does that giant
I know what you're
bubble.
about to say. The bubble, the area.
Why doesn't it have that?
Giving you a radius.
Why?
Now
it's
cool sound effect, cool visual.
Yeah, and it shows you where you're warding. You know, I put it here. I know somebody's gonna walk through this lane completely because it's covered. I'm like,
I mean, I'll be
is
real
that
with
side
you.
covered? Is this side covered? That seems like something that should be added.
I'll be real. I'm personally one of those that when I go through the wall, I don't want to see the actual bubble. I want to see the map. I want to see the people. But here's the thing: you can see, but you can see the you can see. I was gonna say you can see the radius before you place it down, clear as day. And then once it's placed down, I can see that radius on my mini map as well.
Fair enough.
You feel me? So regardless, like, would it be nice to see an animation of actually getting placed and bubble and everything?
The hexagons and whatever.
Yeah, sure, cool. Why not? Yeah, like, but as far as functionality for me, I think the placement of the ward and then being able to see it on the mini map, like the essential functions are there for me, right? That's why I don't care too much for it. I just think it's more of an issue with the wards themselves and the stealth and invisibility, etc.
So say I'm mid lane, I'm in a fight, I have 3 minions that are about to die. Not about to die, close to dying. I want to go run and ward. I'm not looking where I'm dropping the ward. I'm running to the fog wall and I'm throwing it back. If I had that arc to show me where it's warding, I see where I placed it. Did I place it good? Did I place it bad? I'm not looking, like, when I'm placing a ward in mid, I'm doing it fast. I'm not sitting there trying to get perfect placement. I'm throwing it down and I'm getting back to my wave. So that, for me, would be wicked.
Yeah, I can see it. It's a different situation. Because, like, for example, in Duo,
you're just walking in and placing it where you want
I pull my ward out, and literally when the edge of my circle touches the furthest corner of those stairs, I know I'm set. Because now I'm catching there, I'm catching a rotation through the gold buff, etc. So as a visual indicator, I'm okay there, but you're not wrong, because there really isn't that much
different
space.
Situations.
You're literally just throwing the ward, hoping that it made it past the corner, and then all right,
and then you're running back.
We're set. Yeah, we're running back.
So if I actually seen that concave go, I'm like, that's a good ward. I know I'm safe that way. If I throw a ward and somebody sneaks by, shitty.
Also,
it's a little thing that I would like personally add.
Am I crazy, or when you place a ward, does it disappear at different time? Because I feel like sometimes when I
duration, how long it lasts.
Yeah, sometimes I'll place a ward and then 30 seconds I'll turn around, it's gone, and then I'll place that ward again, and then I'm like, okay, is it gonna be?
You get dewarded, maybe?
I was gonna say, you sure you didn't get dewarded while you were hitting a little minion or something?
This feels like the cooldown and the. Sometimes it feels like it's weird, like something's off.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Well, I mean, it's in a weird position, because you have a ward that lasts you, what is it, 90 seconds of stealth ward? It lasts you, but you don't get that ward back for a further time.
While.
So it actually puts you at about, like, what, a 30-second plus
it's a
window?
Decent amount of time that you can get ganked. Yeah.
Yeah, it puts you at a, let's say, I want to say it's like a full minute, but I could be wrong. It's like 90 seconds, but
it feels like a long time. It feels like a very long time when you're in lane.
I'd have to look at the exact details, right? But the whole point of the stealth ward is you use it, you gain vision for X amount of time, but now there's a moment of vulnerability, right? And then you can place a sentry ward that'll cost you money, low-key ruining your economy, but now you can see everything, but anybody can destroy that even easier, right? Like, I understand the different choices that they made. I don't agree with different positionings, like for the fact that, for example, a sentry ward is going to take a spot on my item bench or whatever.
Yeah.
So late game, I can't even buy a sentry ward unless I sell a full item, for example.
Yeah.
But I still would like to use sentry wards. Yeah. Now, Paragon did an interesting way with this throughout its history by making actual items that also gave you wards, similar
Double
to
effects.
the support items.
Yeah.
Which I thought they were doing.
They did that with support items. There is
They've
no
never done it
carry
anywhere
item.
else. Yeah.
There is no carry item that might have a little bit less attack speed, a little bit less damage, but now I got a super effective
That massive
ward.
utility upside. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There's nothing like that.
So again, that's gonna come with the variety side, right? And then this whole, the invisibility is detected by this one, but not by that one. Why not that one?
A new player is not going to know that.
Yeah. Why does the invisible ward not detect the invisible girl? Great question. Next question.
Who knows?
Yeah.
That's a different plane. That's a different plane.
Yeah,
that's with Rev over there.
So
I still get
there's
into
a lot of flaws in it, but
I still get into debates in chat on what a sentry ward is, and I'm like, dude, I play Kalari. A sentry ward will see me. Just place it. And they're like, no. And I'm like, all right, man, good. Go ahead.
Yeah, so a little bit more distinction within the items themselves would be nice too, right? But moving on here, so like we're mentioning, on her ultimate now, the range is limited based off of the level, as we mentioned earlier, and the power scaling got increased by 10%. So at least she's getting a little something.
A little bit, yeah.
Harder to hit, but she'll hit you a little harder simultaneously. Now,
I didn't mind
Murdock. I want to talk about Murdock, and I feel like Cooch, with that smile that he just gave, is gonna go in there. Go ahead.
All right, guys, I gotta go.
This is your zone. Have a good time, man.
Yeah. You really gotta go?
No, I was just kidding.
No, I was like, wait, so serious? Like, okay, I thought we were close to time.
He's like, shit.
No, because I know you do have to go soon, but all right. The static trap. Again, we're going with Pred, right? Pred static trap. One, it does a root right off the bat, right? It was different. And
Paragon did that too, correct?
I believe so. It's been too long for me to remember that far back. But anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. But it took forever. Like, you put it down, and then it's got to do its whole thing.
Well,
yeah. You know, I'm like, I literally was like, oh, let's get this guy. And then they ran through, and they took off. I'm like, then it popped. I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Is that why last night you were throwing them like crazy? Because they would activate so quick?
Yeah. So yeah, so I'm like, all right. I was like, but so these, I also wanted to test this. I want to see, like, okay, it like literally it 0.8 seconds to 0.5 seconds. So that increase is nice because it's like you put it out there, you want to trap the person that's where you're putting it. Like, you put it there on purpose. Like, you're not trapped, but well, it is a trap, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. The range is great because you'd always have to run into that fucking minion wave to get it out a little farther. Next thing you know, you're getting poked because you're a little bit farther. So I like it a little more secure for the ADC. Shield push range, I don't know what I'm talking about. The cast range, and am I able to put, like, so I can only push this far, now I can push this far? Is that what's happening?
It's people that are farther away from you will now get affected by it.
Yeah,
which makes it
50 units away, they get pushed now.
Yeah,
where before it would be like, hey, I pushed, but they were just barely outside of the push, and
you're
it didn't
still
do
pushing
it.
the same.
So
it's
was
just,
that
you could do it farther?
Was that changed to make the skill cap of that combination easier? Where, like, say Chimera jumps on me and I'm backpedaling and I shotgun him, I throw a trap, and then I push him into the trap and it roots him. Was it supposed to be easier to make that combo easier?
I don't think so, because he's on top of you anyway.
It is a thing now, right?
Like, he's already close to you.
Because that combo
was
worked.
just a little bit too long before. Because I had moments where Kalari would ult me. I can see the little crosshair. I know I'm the carry. That shit's about to come my way. I don't care. She doesn't care if my support's here. Immediately, dude, I have a clip where I pulled a triple and the mine didn't activate in time. Where literally it's like dagger, immediate fucking trap on the ground. By the time the trap activated, Kalari had already ulted me. I pushed her into the trap. She's sitting in the middle of my trap, but it hasn't triggered because it's not fully activated. And she double jumps out of it. So it's like, luckily, my Narbash ended up thunking her midair, and we killed her midair. Clutch ass Narbash play. But regardless, it was one of those things that it really needed to activate sooner. It was literally almost pointless to use unless you were using it defensively at times.
Which kind of confuses me, because if you're like, why doesn't the trap, even when she jumps, why doesn't it still root her? When if I'm a Greystone and I jump out of a Steel Bash or a Sevarog Subjugate, I'm in the air already. When that Subjugate comes down, it pulls me back and I'm done. And I'm like, that pisses me off.
I think it's because those abilities are like a cylinder coming from above. Yeah, like a column. Right. And then this one is literally a dome that's half covered on the ground.
Yeah.
So what about this? Like any CC is going to get me. If I jump, Bellica's knockup still gets Greystone out too. So why doesn't the static trap?
Bellica's knockup goes so high.
Yeah, it has a cap.
If you're at the apex of Greystone's jump, I don't think she will get you.
No. She won't get you that high, but there is.
Yeah, and there is.
You can also.
That was one of the. I'll have to go back through all the patches again, but that was one of the changes. They made it to where because
they toned it
now
down.
Gideon can, if he ults high enough, her stun up won't get him. Yeah. So that's a change there. But with this, if I correct me if I'm wrong. And I use them all the time, but his static trap. It's if you just initially go through it, it's just a slow. It's not a route.
Yes,
you have to be pushed into it. By
correct
by Murdock's shield.
By
no
Murdock
one else.
or something.
No. Any displacement works.
Any displacements lock you down?
Yeah.
Okay. If you decide to go Grim Murdock combo, and for some reason Grim pushed you into the Murdock trap mine, it will still work.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's where that comes in. So even then, like, Kalari could have been slowed. We'd have to really watch that clip. Kalari could have been slowed with that double jump. No, you're not in, but like so maybe
I pushed her in and she didn't get slowed. The effect wasn't in the air. The bubble was still on the ground by the time beforehand. Yeah. Correct. Beforehand.
Yeah.
So I understand the change of it. Now, my thing on the shield push, why it got changed, I think it's because it's an animation thing. Because beforehand, I would sit there and be like, bro, I promise you that shield touched
They were in range. Yeah.
But it says that they weren't close enough. Be like, bro, I timed it perfectly. So maybe it wasn't really a change of like, hey, they needed the extra 50. Maybe it's one of those things that they noticed, well, the animation extends to 600 units, but where the effect is only a 550. Maybe that's an oversight, and they're just making sure it matches the visual side as well. Awesome.
And I definitely feel that change because as Kalari, I push, and now, like, the timing is all off now. So I was getting hit by every push when before I could dash through it, and it wasn't a big deal. Like I could bait it out. Now it's a little bit harder to bait out.
Well, yeah, it doesn't help that on Kalari, your strike is now 750 units, and his push is 600. Like the negligible difference there in actual range more than likely means somewhere along that strike you could get pushed. Because you're not invincible throughout it, are you?
No, you're not.
No.
It was just used to bait it out because it's so fast that they would see the animation happening and they're waiting for me to do something, right? So I would dash through it and they're too slow. But now with the range, it makes the timing.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like they made Kalari such a high skill ceiling character that they're probably not going to see many people play her because the good players know I'm not going to play her because a couple wards can counter me.
Yeah.
Right. You get me?
Or so a certain jungler that's really strong just walks in and does whatever they want.
Bro, a Chimera with Aggressor would just shit on a Kalari by all day. All day.
Which he would before the change. He was doing that.
Yeah.
True. So
but she had escaped. She can't really get away now. That's the big difference.
Like I said, I understand a lot of the changes. Not necessarily that I agree with them, right? But this Murdock ultimate, changing the size of the reticle, so now it's kind of like, hey, anything inside of here probably gonna get hit with that laser. Well, it does, bro. It does, but thinking back about it, thinking back about it, I'm like, I never really noticed that, like my like a third of my screen is like target here.
Yeah.
You feel me? And
then it's like you'd have that, right? And you could move that reticle around and it would turn red. Yeah. Right? So it let you know you're on. Yes, it still turns red.
Okay.
It turns red when it's like, okay. And then you'd shoot and you wouldn't hit.
No, yeah.
You'd be like, oh no, you can't go off the red. I'm like,
what do you mean? What are you supposed to go off?
Don't be in my ear telling me I can't go off the red. All right, that's telling me is there's a bug in the game and this needs to get fixed. Don't tell me not to go off the red. You can't go off you gotta aim just above. There's a little. It's gonna sink. Because it's going across the field. Get the hell out.
The wind. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got frustrated with that
it's
too.
It's definitely getting better. I was doing really bad with my shots last night, but it's definitely better. I am liking it.
So I was gonna say, Cooch, can you explain to us what improved health bars means to you, and then
did you notice a difference?
No.
Yeah.
When I saw it,
when I went to alt, I didn't see anything that's like, oh, no.
That's different. Yeah.
No, you know what I wanted to see? When you're ulting, your ally health bars immediately disappear.
Yeah.
Only during ult. And as soon
Yeah,
as
that
you
would-
stop
Well-
ulting, back to normal.
Yes and no. I like to see who's low. I do. Like if I have two people fighting, say I got somebody fighting up in mid, somebody fighting back in mid, and I see this one's dying, I'm gonna ult the one that's about to die. I'm gonna help them.
But here's the thing, you can still look at the top left of your screen and see that.
Sure, but then you're not focusing as much on where you're sniping.
I
know?
see what he. But if
Tooch,
the
what he's
health
saying
bar-
is he's going to more than
I'm
likely
trying to help my
snipe.
team.
He's trying to help his team by deterring the enemy.
Like
That's
so,
attacking.
I'm in.
I don't
there's
see a
three-
Murdock snipe being worth it. Like I feel like you're wasting.
No,
in that
I
regard.
totally
If
wouldn't
you're
use it
somebody
like
that's
that,
low,
but
if you're somebody that's
personally
low, if your
wouldn't.
teammate's low, your snipe a snipe doesn't do enough damage to be like, oh shit, I need to back off.
No. I
You
mean,
know, that's
so-
what I'm like.
I have
He's
somebody
saying-
fighting back here, full health. They're going to win that fight. I have somebody up here who has a little bit of health. I now know I'm going to help the person who's about to get a kill, and only
Okay.
if I ult, they're going to get that kill.
okay, you're saying
wanna
if
be able
your
to know
ult
that.
makes the difference.
In a fight,
you're
I
not
want to
just
be able to know
randomly
that.
wasting.
Exactly.
Okay.
From a close look, very close. Like you could do something else
The
to
thing
change
is,
it,
though,
but I
so-
want to see
but-
the other health bars.
But you're gonna see that when you're going to alt. Before you go to alt, you're gonna scan, like you're in duo lane and you scan over and you got mid lane and you got solo lane, right? You're
I
gonna
see what
see
it
that,
means.
like, oh, you're like,
Like
oh,
before
okay,
you take a
this
knee,
guy's
you're
low,
gonna
this
have an
guy's low, yes.
indicator of where you're aiming.
You're gonna see what your team is, but as soon as you take that
It's not
knee,
like you're flicking mid
teammates
targeting
help.
reticle. You
Yeah,
know?
you're not gonna no scope anybody. You're not gonna shaboom snipe. Got it.
Fair enough. But say you're in lane, you're already fighting with somebody. Somebody calls ult. You back up, quickly throw out your ult, and you're gonna look for the lowest person, right? You didn't
Yeah.
notice your teammates in another fight that's about to die, and you could have helped them. Wouldn't you want to take the
Well,
shot that's
you
gonna
weren't
help?
gonna, you weren't
I mean,
gonna take that anyways because somebody
here's my
called
thing.
alt. That
Here's my response on it. Regardless, it's too rare of a situation for me to want to consistently see the ally health
Yeah.
bars while I ult.
right.
I thought it was something
feel me?
different when they said it. I thought it meant something different when they said tweak to improve aiming across. I thought it meant like when you're across the map, like if I'm in dual lane and then maybe my Greystone is pushing and he's on the other side of the map, you can't even see his body. All you see is his health bar. So you're like, if I aim in the middle of that health, right below it, I should hit the enemy.
Oh,
That's what I thought.
That might honestly be
might
what
have
it
been
is.
it. We don't know. Yeah,
We don't know
Man.
because that is very vague, but that might have been
That
what
is
it is
not
because
the
you're not
best
wrong.
way to word it.
When the health bar's there, it's like, all right, so the health bar's here. I need to aim here.
Exactly. 'Cause
You
can't
feel
see
me?
them.
Like
Yeah.
It could've
it
been.
was rough to aiming. So maybe now when you're looking through the Murdock ult, maybe it
health bar-
spaces them closer to each other. I don't know.
Or the
Or you see a better outline. Yeah.
a better
of the body.
outline or a style of the health bar or like even the style of the health bar. So like if you remember in Predecessor, the health bar, oh, am I thinking of a different game? No, in Predecessor, the health bars looked different where it had maybe like a number in the middle or it had an icon. There was like a
Oh,
shape in the
I know
middle
what you're
of the health
talking
bar.
about.
It's
So I
a
know
million times easier to snipe in Predecessor than it is.
It
Yeah.
is.
the health bar has an icon in the center of
An
the health bar
indicator
where the
that
health
you're
bar
about
is
to hit it.
shaped. And it's not, I don't know if it's an indicator just for, or I think the health bar, just the way the style of the health bar looked.
It's
the middle of the
Easier
health
to
bar
recognize. Yeah.
had a level number, like this enemy is level 10 and it's in the center of the health bar. There's a white icon around the level. And I know if I aim at that right
You're
here,
in the middle.
I'm
Yeah.
going to hit the hero. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I thought it meant.
It still needs a lot of quality of life changes, I think, to make it fluent, I guess.
Mhm.
I think all those quality of life changes are needed, while maybe just if you want to make it more of a skill shot, just play more with the charge, and then you have an opportunity to do some cool visual and sound
Dodge.
work in there.
Yep.
So where like it'll actually charge up for like a second or like half a second or something.
Then you got all
That
that
way-
smoke that flies out or something.
Yeah, just you can go flashy with it, make it cool, but simultaneously just have those things that, hey, if I'm in the snipe, this is what it is, right? Like, honestly, one of you guys brought up a great idea, like the outline of the character. Like, if you can see the health bar, if I were behind a wall, I can see the outline of that character as well, if the health bar can be seen. So why is it that when I'm Murdock sniping across the map, I can't see the outline of that character? Why are we focusing on the health bars?
Exactly.
If I was there, a wall away, or behind the fog wall, I can see the outline through the floor, through minions. I know exactly where his body is. But if I'm cross map, it's like I can only look at a health bar.
There is no body. It's just a health bar. Yeah, it doesn't.
That clip that I showed you in Pred, that one that I had the 3 alts against me. I sniped Drongo. You could see his silhouette, and that's how I knew. I was like, okay, he's right here. Bam. I shot through that little lip on tier 2, going from tier 2 to tier 1. I shot through that lip. I was able to see him there. I was like, all right, that's a silhouette. And then he did get the minions were gone, so I lost him, but I knew he was still there, so I shot real quick. But you can aim at that
when you
silhouette.
Had vision, you know it was there.
So it's like, and it's so much easier. I love, as a Murdock main, like, I get anybody who's not an ADC or not like you could say no, it's too easy, too cheesy. As a Murdock main, I love it. It was great feeling. It's
rewarding. Yeah.
You hit that all. You're like, bam, I got it. Now with Fault, I'm like,
you're guessing.
I look up. I'm like, I didn't see any health go down. I didn't. I'm like, how did I miss? What do you mean?
You're literally guessing because
you want the champion to be fun and immersive and feel fluent. Like it just you don't get that with the alt right now. You really don't.
And I want to be able to take 3 alts with Murdock and just keep winning. All right.
Can you make me invincible, please?
So check it. Items. Purity of the Ancients got a small rework. Purity of the Ancients got a small rework. The active, it cleanses all heroes within 650 units of all crowd control effects. Successfully cleansing an allied hero grants all affected heroes 20% movement speed for 3 seconds. So they kind of gave Purity of the Ancients a augment. What was it? What was that one item?
It gives everybody Tiog.
The augmentation one. Yeah. So interesting. I don't know if it was needed, but maybe it's a way to get a little bit more oomph in the item for people to actually use it. Instead of just a cleanse, because half the time it's like, hey, I cleanse you guys and you died anyway. Rip.
Yeah.
Okay. My bad.
It definitely needed a bigger upside for sure. I think that's okay. So I think it was a good change.
We'll see how it goes. And then Gravedigger's Crossbow, we talked about it before. Now builds Magus Bolt as well, status effect, and then moving into its own independent status effect as well. And then the Jungle Shrines. So I'm interested, to say the least, on these Jungle Shrines. Shrines no longer grant you missing health and missing mana from ability hits and landing basic attacks. Shrines now grant 20% missing health and 50% missing mana to the last hitter.
Yep.
I think it's a great change.
So do I. You have to get used to it. It's definitely something you have to get used to, because we're all used to, like, okay, I can go down here and get some more sustain. You know, we can all work together. Like, oh, we just got done with a dual lane fight. Let's go sustain so we can stay in lane. We'll push this and go to tower. Now you can go get gold buff, but your support has to go back.
Yeah,
because they're not going to get any sustain off that. They have to go back and heal or whatever. You know,
2 people aren't getting benefits.
Yeah. It's huge.
It also promotes much better fights over it, because you're wanting to get that last hit now. That's huge. Because that if I'm in a fight and I grab that last hit, I should be winning that fight without a doubt. I'm getting 20 more health and 50 more mana. I can go ham.
20%.
50%. Yeah.
I'll be honest though.
I have a different perspective on it.
I still sit on the unpopular opinion that they shouldn't give you any health or mana. You're already getting a buff.
And that's
you're
fine.
getting an economy. You're getting a buff. I'm also going to give you a 1/5 of your life back, and I'm going to give you half of your mana back. What the fuck is this? A pit stop to fuck over the lane next to you?
It's an ahead mechanic for sure. Definitely.
Like, you feel me? It's like, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't need it, but I went from...
What if it attacked you? What if it attacked you like the other buffs do? And
I would be okay
with
it.
Damage from you, but then it still gives you the 20%, 50% at last hit.
I would be okay with it because even if somebody kites the damage and gives the health and mana to somebody that needed it,
there was still a negative effect.
Somebody left with a negative effect. There's no reason why you should get 20% missing health and 50% missing mana. And if you hit this one, you'll get extra lifesteal and a little bit of extra this. But if you hit that one, you'll get extra health regen and extra mana. Or if you hit this one...
Oh, wait, there's more.
Yeah, it's just... There's still a little bit too much for them, in my opinion.
Did you like Paragon buffs then, where you just one hit it and got a buff instantly? I'm curious.
So, I didn't like the one-hitting aspect of it, but I did prefer the... Like, for example, red buff and blue buff, even in the current iteration, in my opinion, are proper buffs. I get attacked by it. They're not necessarily easy to take, but once I get it, I get an influential buff that's going to help me out in the next decisions that I make. I grab red buff, I know I'm going to have to apply that dot somewhere. You feel me? Yeah. I grab the blue buff, I know I have the advantage of cooldown. I need to apply this cooldown to the best of its ability. But I'm still like, hey, I'll be real with you, unless I have the proper hero, that blue buff kind of fucked me up, or that red buff kind of fucked me up. And they did a change to where you do get extra health and mana by even completing a camp. That's literally holding a jungler's hand and be like, hey, even if you're not good enough, we'll help you out. I got you. So I disagree with that even.
Okay.
Blue Sky, what do you guys say? You said you have a different view of it.
The buff, so when you brought up the buffs in Monolith, right? Like one or two shot it. The things with those were, even shot it, you have to get so position to get it that it's dangerous. Like even though it was one or two shot, you still had to go off that ledge, and unless you were Gideon, you could teleport.
I was gonna say some people,
but you're more in danger. Like you're in danger when you're going after that buff, because the mid laner is gonna go for one, and the jungler is gonna go for the other. You're by yourself unless your jungler is helping you.
So you don't think these buffs are more of a danger? I think they're more of a danger.
No, they're not. They're not.
I have to sit there for a minute and get potentially ganked from both ways, where I can't see.
Positioning, it's more of a danger. Yes,
I think so.
But regardless, you shouldn't sit there grabbing the buff, and let's say you didn't get ganked, right? There should be no reason that you're coming out with extra health, extra mana on top of what the buff already gives you.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't see any logical reasoning to be like, hey, let's add a cherry on top. You know what that means? What that's adding up to me? They already added the whole extra health and mana on the rest of the jungle camps. They're trying to make the jungle role as easy as possible so even a beginner can play. And now, even on the objective that doesn't hit you back, they also still have giving you health and mana back.
Yeah, but you didn't always get it for, like, I've never gotten that buff for free, ever. Like, people always steal it from me.
You're always getting in a fight for the most part.
Yeah, so I'm hitting it, right? And maybe then I'm going to steal it. So at least we come out equal. You know what I'm saying? I hit it, I get health, and I get mana back. And then he last hits it, he steals it from me. I'm pissed off, but at least I don't have to die for it. And then on top of that, like, I mean, now you have to depend on your jungler to come help you, or hope that their jungler is not going to kill you for, trying to go get this buff that takes 20 minutes to kill. I don't know. Like, it's just different perspectives coming from the side that they're always going to, most of the time, they're always going to challenge you for a buff, whether it's just sit there and last it with Sev, Bellica, or Murdock. Or
but I say, I'll be honest, I don't go for that buff unless I know I'm ahead in my lane. Like, if my wave is under their tower, I'm going for the buff. If if we got a kill, all right, bet, let's grab this buff. If they're up and our waves are there, I'm not going for that buff. We need some sort of advantage here, because going in there is probably going to cause a team fight. A jungler is more than likely going to show up. And if you just happen to be on, strong side where red side is next to you, you have an advantage in that scenario, right? So I'll be
maybe the buff should be different for duo versus solo, because I'm thinking of it from a solo laner. He's talking about duo lane, and I think the danger and the benefits different coming from each lane.
Don't you think there should be objectives to push fights? I think there should be.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that they fit that niche very well. Of you're gonna start a fight most of the time over a buff, especially in offlane.
Yeah, and I mean, and like my example, the fight gets started before. Like, I pushed the fight.
You want pressure. You want lane presence. Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. So the fight is still initiated. It's serving its purpose. I just don't think if, for example, if I push a fight, I win the fight. Now I also get the buff and get back health and mana, which allows me. And then in gold, I get lifesteal as well. So now that allows me to stay in lane instead of being like, hey, guys, honestly, I got this buff, but I need to spend, need to get back my health and mana. It's literally giving me a reason to stay in lane and get further ahead by successfully winning the fight and successfully getting that buff. Now, that's outside of the argument of, oh, what if you steal it? Or what if they come by and smite it last second? All right, you know what? Fair enough. That outplay potential is always going to be there, right? But in a normal scenario, there's no reason why I should win a fight, barely survive, let's say in this example, and then get health and mana back from the objective. Right. Like, it should be one of the... I think it should be one of those things like blue buff or red buff, for example. If I just want to fight by red buff, I'm like, damn, bro, I'm kind of too low to start this fight with red buff. I don't know if I want to do this. Or if I do it, I might make it out, but I'm like, yo, I got to back before somebody shows up and fucks me up. Yep. That's a more tactical decision. Giving me a reward for completing something that was a risk, the gold was already rewarded enough. You don't need to give me health and mana on top of that.
What if we combine the two shrines, the gold, the blue buff and red buff, and the shrines, right? So the shrines don't attack back, right? But if you attack them, their health stays low, right? So let's make it so when it attacks you, but that health still stays low. So then my support can go down there and pick at it, whatever, and I go down there and get that last hit so I can get that gold buff. So it's not like if my support leaves it, now it just regenerated his health back again, because if you leave red buff, so all right, I'm full health again, you know? So what if it does something like that? So you still gives you that attack.
Go back to full health kind of thing.
Yeah, you could do that because at the end of the day, somebody came out hurting from grabbing the buff.
There's still negative effect for it. Yeah.
Even if you give it to somebody that wasn't there, like a carry, even if you set it up for the carry, your jungler just took damage, your carry got the buff, maybe, and there's always the potential that it could easily get smited or stolen regardless. If your support is down there by himself doing it while you're in lane, that's a strat. That's an easy support to kill, though, if he gets caught.
Definitely, yeah.
Especially if he already took damage, not if he's just full damage, full mana. All right, it's one hit ready for you, boss. Just go for it.
So in off lane, if you're taking damage from this buff, like, I just see the off lane buff not being.
That's what I was thinking.
But the buff is already going to give you crazy health regen and mana.
Yeah, but
on top of getting health and mana for finishing it.
But just to get back what you took damage, that doesn't seem very good to me. Why would I take it then?
In off lane,
I'll be honest with you, that buff is so strong, you're gonna gain back a full health bar. You feel me? It like, let's say you took 200 damage. As
not if you just got into a fight.
Okay, but then that is what strategic decision making is. Are you gonna go for red buff, for example? Are you gonna go grab red buff when you're low? No, you're gonna die to red buff. You're gonna go back and come back and grab it then. That's such a strategic decision. When you hold somebody's hand and give them health and mana for completing an objective that they would have otherwise not done, you're promoting the death volley factor because you're literally saying, hey, keep getting stronger. We'll let you do this.
Yeah.
Instead of going back and sacrificing that time rotation, for example, just because you wanted the health and the mana.
I think that change is going to promote jungles to help with every single buff. I don't think mids will,
which I believe is what they were meant to do anyways.
I don't think so. I don't think that was the purpose. I think that's why they took out smiting originally of the shrines.
You don't want to.
I think there's different ways that you can promote jungler buffs. Like I bring up the monolith thing again. The buffs were spread out so far apart in mid lane that the mid laners, it was imperative to control those buffs because one, they were random, and two, the different effects that they gave you were super game changing. One gave this, one gave that, one gave this. And the fact that they're so far apart and so far away from your lane that you had to take a risk to even go get it, that you only would go get it if you warded properly and knew that the jungler was on the other buff. So I'm going to go for this buff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so to me, it's different dynamics, just built in a different way. So Fall is trying to do something differently. They're trying to promote the same behavior with different activity. Like, so the buff gives you health and mana back when you hit it. So it'll make them want to go get it if they're low, right? Because I'll get it back. It's not going to be too much of a risk unless he comes and steals it, in which I've hit it enough times to where it's not like going to be a total loss if he steals it from me. And I'll still be able to stay in lane. He's going to stay in lane, and we'll continue our laning. I just lost the buff this time. Next time I'll ask for help. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they're just trying to hit it in different, whether it's good or not, to get health and mana back and get the buff, like killing buff effect. I don't know if you should get both, because now at that point the laner's going to, and I'm coming just from strictly from an off lane perspective, that guy who steals the buff is going to start to snowball, and there's nothing and it makes you feel helpless.
That adds some more strategy to it.
That's macro, exactly. Like, that's promoting good plays. If I steal it, I should be rewarded massively. Like,
but you already are.
But the guy hitting it got rewarded too.
Why double dip on the rewards?
Yeah, so
like, I don't think it's more double dipping. I think they're just promoting it to be whoever gets it, gets it. You're already getting that health and stuff. You're just getting it all at once now.
I still stand by, like, you shouldn't get any health. If anything, it should take from you. Like, even slowly per hit or getting it at the end. I'm still a strong believer that, yo, don't give me shit. You're already giving me something by, like, me taking time away from lane. Me taking time to be exposed in the jungle. I'm already getting something in return for being down here.
I feel like that's just going to promote more ranged off. Like, and it's just going to get even. Because, like, if I'm Greystone and I'm hitting buff and it's hitting me back, I'm taking all this damage, and this fool just comes and one taps it, and then he's just going to kill me. And it's just going to be a snowball for me. Now at this point, like, at this point,
Windu's talking about the shrine's not even doing damage. He's just saying he doesn't want any heals or mana off of it at all. He just wants you to give him the buff, right? So whatever the buff is for solo lane that heals in mana, honestly, it was just ironically part about it. But like the hitting or the last hitting, you get nothing. You get literally just strictly the buff. So you're not getting hit. You're getting just the buff if you get that last hit.
Okay.
So then,
and I'm saying the only world
you still have that issue with range off lane.
Yeah, but I'm saying also the only world where you should get health and mana, if you want to have it that way, is like red buff and blue buff, where you use your health and mana to try and get the buff.
So I'm okay with the way it is because it promotes being in lane longer. I don't want to back a million times. If there's buffs to help me stay in the game forever, that's awesome. That's more playtime than less running back and forth to lane. I'm okay with that. It promotes, to me, a more interesting gameplay.
One-sided thing, though.
Well, not really, because there's two buffs.
Well,
they could go grab the other one if I go the other one.
Well, no, let me put it to you this way. Let's say, just so we can wrap it up here. So let's say on the gold buff side, right? Opposite carries. If you go, one of you grabs it, the likeliness is that one that grabbed it was probably going to stay in lane a little bit longer. Now, the thing is, by staying in lane a little bit longer, that means he hits a power spike sooner. So by the time that the next buff is up, I'm better equipped, higher level, and ready to grab the second buff and be ahead even more.
Fair enough. Yeah, understandable. I get the other point.
From a jungle perspective, having options, okay, sure. I get the argument. From a laner perspective,
is it possible that those lane buffs are too strong? Like, because, like, again, I'm going back to Monolith. Those buffs had an effect, but it didn't like make it snowball.
A very
like
unique
it was
effect.
Yeah, like, oh, it gives you invisibility for a gank.
It was interesting.
It makes your basic attack slow, or it gives you a burn on your basic attack effects. You know what I'm saying? It didn't like give you extra experience, or like it seems like.
I think it's less competitive that way though. This is a set buff, so it promotes more competitive play because you know exactly what you're getting. There's no RNG to it.
Because of the
I get invis, that's huge.
Out of it.
Yes, exactly. Where I'm never going to get invis, I'm never going to go to a lane and get a free kill. I know exactly what I'm getting, and I'm getting it every time if I play properly. Is the way I do like that.
It's odd getting killed in off lane for this buff, and then you come back, right? I got killed. I tried to get the buff, and I ended up getting killed because I was out of position trying to get the buff, right? I get killed, I come back, and this dude's 2 levels ahead of me. I was only gone for a second.
Okay, so say that happens. Don't contest it. Let him have it. Save farm, you know? Yeah. That comes to player skill again, like realizing I'm not going to win that fight. I'm not dying for it. He's going to get the buff, and he's going to get all that wave. You just got to, there's a point where it's like, he's going to have that buff, and I'm going to chill for a bit. and then I'll push the fight.
Interesting.
So tomato.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Basically what it
sides.
comes down to.
Yeah.
I want to hear what people think down below, because again,
Definitely,
it is
I'd be
more
interested in seeing,
of a community thing, because it affects different lanes differently. By all means,
for sure.
Specifically,
Yeah, exactly.
when the buffs gives you different things.
Yep.
Because again, extra health and mana for a buff that gives you health and mana, in my opinion, just sounds stupid. By all means, that's the example of double dipping to me.
Yeah,
on the gold side or the blue side, I can see it maybe being a little bit more versatility for the squishier characters, right? But it's basically gonna.
I'm curious to see what other people will think. I am.
Yeah,
I would like to see it like in action. Like I wouldn't be opposed to trying having that buff be some active buff that does damage to you. You know, like a giant minion or something that hits you or something, or that thing,
could be an AoE.
Arms and legs. Yeah, like it's a shrine and it looks like it's like a shrine, but then it comes to life and hits you.
Yeah,
and I think it
you
would
could do some cool stuff. Very cool stuff.
Yeah.
That's like Baby Prime too. I can't wait till eventually they put their own model on that and stuff. Like they can do cool stuff.
When are we gonna see Prime running up the mid lane?
That's probably never happening.
watch the Over Prime video.
You're pushing it. You're pushing it. Yeah.
I was about to say, I don't know if that'll happen. Cool thing to see, but I'll be honest, I'm just tired of seeing
that model for real.
Like literally, if they go and pay some dude to put a random dragon in that pit, if they even if they, whatever it may fucking be, like, hey, you see this minion? We're gonna give you this minion. Make it beefed up on steroids. Give us what you got and throw that bitch in. I think it should look like something different.
I want to see Mr. T. I want to see Mr. T with a bunch of change and 2 machine guns.
Get me the fuck out.
There you go.
Oh my god, get me the fuck out.
Blue Sky, you got any last words for the community? What do you got?
Hey,
get yourself out. Go for it.
Let's be a positive community and play the game like you want to play the game. All right, let's get in the game and let's all play together.
There you
be
go.
a bunch of gamers, exactly.
Mac, what you got?
That's it. I'll go with the gamers too.
All right. Blue Sky, send me all your links. I'm gonna give it to Windu, or you can send it to Windu either way. So put all the stuff in the video here at the bottom. Windu, you got any last words?
I'll be real, man. I got just feedback for SMS and the community, right? For SMS, I appreciate the fact that you're getting a little bit more worried about the now, even though it might not make sense, even though it might be drastic. I appreciate focusing a little bit on the now while working on the future. And then to the community, I'll be honest, SMS still has a little bit of improving to do in a lot of areas, and hopefully they do so as a startup company. I'm here with you guys. I hold them accountable. We're here together, but at the end of the day, just try to hang in there. Hopefully changes come sooner rather than later, and hopefully they make sense as we go throughout. That's how I feel.
No, definitely. Mine's more directed to SMS. We do got to make changes soon. I'm one that would say in the beginning the game doesn't get stale, and I still don't think the game is stale. The problem is we have people in the community that literally go into the game and just troll because they want to troll, and I want to play the game to play the game. You know, and that's where we need something else. We need something to where we can get more players in here to where I'm not playing the trolls. I can play somebody different, you know, and it would go still on. Like I'm tired of it. I want something different. So SMS needs to start marketing. They need to start doing something to make this player base grow even more. So things got to change.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not the only one feeling this way.
Yeah, definitely.
True. All right, let's wrap it up.
All right.
To the next video.
Peace.
See you guys.